All right. Trying to bear with me, guys. Damn it. All right. Having drama on YouTube Live right now, bro. Okay. What we got here today is a CZ-P-01. I'm going to go through with you guys on the general disassembly and then the consequent modifications on this P-01, CZ-P-01. If you guys are commenting and I don't respond, it's because I can't really see what's going on in the chat because I'm sitting here and the phone's up here. Let's see. So, standard 91199 SKU number. Anybody who's worked on CZs knows they come with this really sticky lube all over them. I like to wipe all of that stuff off before I get started. Do a quick inspection of the rails and any of the internal components. I also take inventory of the condition of the slide. Even if it's a brand new gun, I look for things like slight wear over here, as well as any of the heavy tooling marks that you may or may not find along the slide rails on these guns. What I also do is I get a bunch of bags together, and these bags will be used for inventorying the various parts of the gun as I go through it. So disassembly of the barrel and main spring over here, recoil spring. This stuff will all get put away. There's going to be some pounding during this video. I'm going to have my armor's block out here. I'm going to be pounding on this thing, so bear with me on that. I'm going to need my punches as well. And the first thing we're going to do is get to work on this slide right here. The sights are going to be switched out. You got two roll pins when you're doing this, the extent of modifications that I'm doing. What we have going in today is we have a 10x bushing from Cajun Gunworks. This will be going in today. We also have a raise hammer from CZ Custom. Let me get that out so you guys can see it a little bit better. We have a raise hammer replacing the factory hammer from CZ Custom. We have a 2075 spring over here for the firing pin, a 13-pound main spring. This is for your hammer strut. We've got the 85, the Combat 85 trigger, as well as a disconnector in here, trigger return spring and lifter. And when we close up, we'll be throwing these fiber optic sights with black serrated rears on it as well. Whenever I take apart one of these guys, I always polish up all the internals to kind of, since I'm in there and I got everything apart, I'm going to maximize the work being done and the product, the end result for the customer. In this case is my buddy Tim, who's getting into the CZ game. I want to make sure that he has a good intro to CZ here. So, let me see. Also got a replacement guide rod for him. So first things first, I'm going to get this firing pin out of there. Take my roll pin punch and I'm going to tap this roll pin right up out of there as soon as I get a good grip on it. That motherfucker's in there, huh? It's coming very slowly. Be right back. Mother of God! Alright, so that guy was in there. Gonna go ahead and finish that up. Block off the back of the slide over here just in case the firing pin block doesn't stop the assembly from coming out. Pull that out and you should be able to get out the rest of your components in here. You're gonna have your firing pin block over here in spring, your firing pin itself, and then you're gonna have your firing pin spring inside of that slide, and it always gets stuck in there. That's how it comes out. We're not going to be replacing the extractor over here or the extractor spring. That's going to stay intact. These sights will be coming out. Don't forget, if you're removing the rear sight, that there is typically a little set screw back here, Allen set screw, that you're going to have to remove. One of the first things that I like to replace on these P-01s is definitely the sights. As you guys can see, this is a law enforcement model right over here, and it comes with the glow-in-the-dark paint, but it's lacking. You guys can imagine how shitty these sights actually are. So we're going to put this on the side now that we've got this all done. I'm also going to bag up all the little parts that I just removed from there. I'm going to save those for later. The lifter, as well as the firing pin, will get polished, the replacements, and I have the replacements right here, obviously. So not the lifter, the firing pin block and the firing pin spring will get polished up, and this guy will get polished right in this area. Hopefully I'll have time to show it to you guys on this live feed today. All right, I can't respond to anybody because I can't see their comments.
Oh, should I get you another phone?
No, I can get the other phone. I'm sorry, one more thing, guys. The other pin that's got to come out is located right here in the front of the sight. And this pin right here retains the front sight as well as the bushing. So if you guys are doing a bushing replacement, like a 10x bushing, which is what I'm doing on this guy, if you guys are replacing this bushing, remember that pin's got to come out in order for this bushing to be able to come out as well. That's a YouTube in itself, just taking this guy out. All right, so this guy's ready to go put on the side. I'll put that back in the case over there, and then we're gonna get to work on taking this guy apart. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna release pressure from the mainspring over here by pushing this lanyard loop in, pulling the mag brake forward, and taking the pin out. So I'm going to push this straight up in there. Using my other hand, I'm going to pull that mag brake out, and I'm going to be able to release tension on the assembly right there. So this now has no tension on it. All right. Next thing we got to do that's not the right one. If you look inside of the sear cage over here, you're going to see this tiny little spring arm right over here sticking out. You're going to want to lift that up and push on that decocker right there. Just push on that pin right there. The decocker should be able to come right out. Decocker is removed. Did you want to
I'm watching your live right now.
You're watching it right now?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But this thing is so wide that you can actually see all the way till here. It's amazing.
It's a Samsung.
It's a Samsung S10 Plus.
Little retainer washer needs to come out. Gently tap that guy out. That needs to come out. We're going to put that on the side. And in order for this sear cage to be removed, that's one of the first things that's got to come out. So after that comes out, I have an actual slave pin that I use right here. And it's recommended that you use a slave pin. But you can drive this slave pin right into that, and it'll retain the assembly. It'll keep it all together. Because I'm going to be polishing this all up, it's not really imperative, and I'm familiar with putting them back together. I've taken them apart and put them back together many times. I don't typically retain that assembly, and I'll just gently tap this guy out here. And when I pull this out, when I pull this tool out, it's all gonna disassemble inside of there. So there you go, that is out. You've got the sear spring, your tiny lifter spring, which is very easy to lose. Be careful not to lose that. You've got your decocker spring over here. This is the decocker itself, and that's what your assembly cage your sear cage is made of. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that out, keep my thumb over it, and then gently release that, and this guy should pop right out. All the parts will drop right out the bottom, apparently. All right.
I know, but it's trying to show his hands.
Whoa. All right.
It's too far.
There you
It's
go.
hard to do because it doesn't. See how?
It's okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's good. I should have switched the camera mode before I started it. You guys know I'm a YouTube live rookie. I don't usually do YouTube lives. I'm usually your hammer retention pin over here is blocked in by this hammer retention pin block pin. So that needs to come out as well. You're gonna lift that guy up. Make sure not to lose it. Keep it on the side. Once that's out, we can go ahead and push this pin right out and through the gun, and then your hammer assembly should be able to fall right out. Now it's important to note this is a decocker model, right? It's a left side decocker model. On your disconnector, it's very important to note that only one side of this disconnector has a feature right over here, right? This is featureless on this side. All right. When you're working with CZ Custom parts, and I know this from first-hand error, CZ Custom sends a disconnector that's made for the manual safety guns as standard. This will have to be machined off very carefully. You don't want to go and mess all that up. There are also some little things that I do around the edges over here to kind of smooth out your trigger pull and your reset. This right here is what the factory assembly looks like. And when you're working on this and you're going to replace this hammer and the disconnector, the only pin you got to remove is right there. So I just noticed that this thing had a little spot to throw the hammer in to remove the pins. All this time I've just been throwing it on my desk. All right, where's my starter punch? Now for this guy, you want to use a starter punch. Be careful when you're using starter punches, and because you could put them through your pinky like I did once recently. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna take this guy and use a big hammer. I'm gonna smack right through this one time, get that out of there. All right, this is the hammer I'm using, by the way. Okay, so you guys heard me smack that one time, right? That guy's coming out over there. And all I need to do is get that pin far enough out that I can remove the hammer strut. Just like that. Hammer strut we're going to be retaining for use with the new race hammer assembly. This is going to go on the side. You can see I don't even take that pin all the way out. I'm going to put that on the side. That goes back to the owner of this firearm. I'm going to give him back all his factory parts. Where did I put that hammer? This is a problem I run into hourly at my desk, is I'll have something right here and then lose it. I'll misplace it. There it is, it's right here. All right, so I got this hammer. This is gonna be going on to the hammer strut right here. All right. Now, also important to note, the factory pins typically don't fit with the CZ Custom hammers. I usually use the enlarged H pins, which are the non-staking pins for the competition hammers, and I whack those guys in here, and I haven't had any problems with them coming loose. The hammer strut itself needs to get polished up. This is not a bad example, but I'm gonna start to clean this up, and you guys are gonna see the work that I'm gonna do to clean this up, and how much flash there actually is over there. I wish I could engage you guys a little bit more, but I can't really see what's going on in the camera right now because I'm sitting here with my head down on this. All right, so carefully, you can place this in a vise if you want. I'm gonna remove this layer of coating right there, and you guys are gonna see all the casting marks over there. The other phone is right over here. Now, if you're really overzealous with your sanding, I'm sure you could remove enough material to cause structural weakness in these parts. So it's important to note you want to you want to remove material only as much as you need to, and there's a point of diminishing returns. There's sometimes that I get some of these hammers, the hammer struts, and they're so far gone that I'll stop without getting all of the casting flash and marks out of there. You can see already that that's going to be a lot smoother. Throw some Kratex on here and finish this guy up. Alright, so that is one of the areas I polished. Now this portion of the hammer should not make contact with the hammer strut channel, but it's possible. I cleaned that up, as well as where the mainspring sits over this, particularly on this top side. Now another place you don't want to take away too much material. There's no benefit of taking away too much material here except causing this to become weaker. So you want to minimize the amount of material. I also want to smooth out this surface. And if you look at this closely, you'll see that there are these ridges that rise up over here. I'm going to want to smooth that out. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to throw this on my bench grinder. And I wonder if they could see that. I don't know. Well, I'm going to throw this on my bench grinder. I'll be right back. Threw that on the bench grinder and took away the high points and the ridges over here. And I'm just going to clean that area up. I'm going to get this thing rounded up nicely.
I don't know how you can see the chat, but this is your video.
That's mine?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's so clear. I'm liking YouTube Live, guys. I'm liking YouTube Live. All right. I hope some of you guys are finding this information useful. Again, I apologize that I can't really engage the chat as much as I'd like to, as much as I normally do on Instagram, for example, because I can't see the comments really. Where the hell did I put my screwdriver? There it is. I'm gonna switch this piece around right over here, get a new drum on this guy. Even though the old drum is perfectly fine, I just want finer sand, finer grit. Oh shit, this thing is on there. I'm a hot mess right now, guys.
We have 15 people in the chat room right now, or watching right now.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna use a different wheel. You know. A lot of guys, you know, are amazed at how fast we turn around builds over here, but make no mistake about it. Every day that I work on guns here, I have these, I don't want to say blonde moments because I don't want to offend anybody who's blonde, but I have these moments where I'm a real fucking scrub with trying to fucking find parts in my own shop at my own desk. 600 grit going on. I think it's going on. There you go. The tool that I'm using is a handy 700. We will go back and edit later on and try to put a link in the description of this. There you go. Don't worry, guys, we're gonna start progressing any moment now. All right, here we go. Chat publicly as Dave Mods. Yeah. All right. So that guy's situated right there. All right. Now what I want to do is just kind of round out these edges just gently. Again, you can put this in a vise if you don't feel comfortable doing it with your hands like this. It's probably more consistent for most people. Because of the rate that I work at, I don't typically vise things up, but I guarantee you that you won't have problems with the machining. And all you want to do on this is remove these sharp points where the mainspring can get kind of hooked up on the hammer strut. So you want to graduate all of these corners and edges and whatnot, but it doesn't need to be, you know, massive machining done to the hammer strut. There are tool marks, as you guys can see, that I'm starting to remove over here on this area that I haven't ground down. I will just, for the sake of being thorough, always take out the tool marks where I'm working as well. Better look at the tool marks right there. Nice camera angle. Okay, now I can see the chat. Thank you. Mel got a new camera mount over here, so I'm trying to make use of it. All right. So we got a quick look at how that's coming out, and we've rounded out all those edges. Again, to illustrate what we're doing here, we're going to be reinstalling this mainspring on here, and what we don't want is we don't want it catching and hanging up on any of this stuff over here. So trying to smooth all of that out. Now I'm going to go and throw a buff on this guy, throw it on the buffing real quick, and put a little bit of shine on it and maximize the polish job that we just did. Give me 1 second. Now, not everybody does this, and it's up to you guys on whether or not it's a step you want to take. But I like to also clean up the area where the hammer is going to be making contact with the hammer strut. And all that entails, typically use Cratex, and it doesn't have to be super polished. But I typically use Cratex, and I will just gently clean up this surface right here. And you'll see that there's tool marks even on this section of the hammer strut. The Cratex is good to use because it leaves burnished finish behind already, kind of polished up already. None of this portion of the hammer right here does make contact with the hammer as far as I know. I clean that up anyway. I'm sorry, I clean that stuff up anyway. Man, if for Lent, and I'm not religious, if I had to give up swearing, I would fail. Yeah, I'd fail. All right.
You'd be better off doing no rice.
No rice. Don't want to enlarge that hole, you just want to kind of polish it out. right there is the hammer strut work. Now putting this guy back together is it's pretty painless, as long as you don't put your punch through your finger, which I've done. So definitely avoid that. Not recommended. You're gonna want to have the right pin set. In this case, like I said, I use. Hold on, let me show you guys what the pins look like. These are standard pins right over here, and you'll see that when I put this pin in, I can just push it in with my finger. I'm not going to be using that pin right there. I don't like staking pins if I don't have to. Rather, you can go to Cajun Gunworks website, and you can order these enlarged hammer pins right here, and you'll see that these are the H pins from Cajun Gunworks. You'll see that comparatively they have a swell right over here. Let me put that closer. They're kind of swollen right there. You guys can see that. So I'm going to use that pin right there. And the nice thing about this pin is you don't have to get everything lined up first. You can actually take this pin, put it right in there, and get that hammer strut situated comfortably. And then you get a big fucking hammer. Punch. And you want to make sure that this guy sits flush. If it doesn't sit flush, you're going to have interference in the hammer channel right over there. So I'm going to give it one more good crack. That's still not flush. I'm going to have to tap it one more time. I'm going to use a smaller punch this time. That's closer to flush. I have in the past had to actually grind down this pin in some cases. I can still feel it sticking up just a little bit. Hold on, I'm gonna put this on a more solid surface. Shit. There you go. All set. The disconnector will be attaching in the front over here. Also important to note that the manual safety hammers will have the same arm on either side. And you can see this is where it interfaces with the sear itself. And on this side it's different. This is made space, there's space made for the decocker right over here. All right. Again, when you look at this guy, I polished this part up. When it's sitting in the gun, you'll be able to see this section right over here, but there's no actual contact that it makes with the hammer. All right. Okay, final part of the disassembly for this guy is to go ahead and get that trigger pin out, that retaining pin. And sometimes it's easy, and I'm guessing because I'm on Instagram Live, YouTube Live right now, that it's going to be extremely difficult to get this guy out. So I'm going to go ahead and tap. What the hell? You guys are lucky today. Now, when I pull this punch out, that pin, that trigger return spring is likely going to go flying. If you don't want to lose it, make sure you turn the gun over when you remove that guy so that you don't lose it. Once that's done, this can be popped right out. Now I'll be replacing this pin with a floating trigger pin, which will allow the user to tap it in and out at will without having to worry about replacing a roll pin. All of the roll pins that we're removing on the gun, we're going to be replacing those with brand new roll pins. Important to note, you want to make sure to have extra parts on hand when you're working on these guns, particularly this little spring right here. That little lifter spring, make sure you have extras, because a lot of times guys take their stuff apart, and I've read horror stories about how those go flying all over the place. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and take that trigger out right there. Now, another portion of the polishing goes into this trigger bar. This one is actually in really good shape. There's not a lot of tool marks over here. I've seen trigger bars come through with tool marks so heavy that even after I ground them down, I couldn't get them all out. But I'm going to show you guys what it looks like after they're done with the polish. Give me a sec. All right. Gonna get that all cleaned up. This is how, and so I'm just on the belt sander. I'm gonna take away all the tool marks over there and polish up all of this area with my Cratex. Actually, you can use. I'll show you guys. You guys can use fine sandpaper as well. You can use a fine grit like 400 grit, 600 grit sandpaper and get that cleaned up as well. I try not to use anything too abrasive when I'm working on this because I don't want to remove that much material. I'm also going to polish up. This is the portion of the trigger bar that interfaces with the frying pin block. Where's my Cratex? I'm going to go ahead and do a nice cleanup polish on that. Again, I'm not trying to reprofile this piece. All I want to do is clean it up. This part of the trigger bar rides under your sear cage. Do not want to recontour anything. You just want to clean it up, remove any heavy tool marks. But again, you don't want to affect that area too much. There you go. The where the trigger attaches, I do the same thing as I did with the hammer strut, and I Cratex that guy up a little bit just to make sure that any interface over here is nice and smooth. Now this portion of your trigger bar will come into contact with other componentry. So your trigger return spring and whatnot will ride along this as well. So I tend to clean this area up likewise, like I did with the hammer strut. This one being a little bit more functional. The other one with the hammer strut is just completing the, just being thorough. This one is actually an area where you'll be making contact. well, with other pieces. So just gonna smooth that guy out. And same thing. Trigger bar is prepped. Now, I can go and throw this on the buffing wheel as well, get this polished to a high gloss. Not totally necessary. Not horrible, but not necessary either. And if time is of the essence, if you're getting paid to do this stuff, the amount of gain that you'll see from it is negligible, and it's more of an aesthetic thing, just to like the feel good part of it. Yikes! Making sure this is the right pin. Yeah. Oh, this thing is gonna give me a hard time. YouTube. All right. Pin's a little bit oversized for this trigger. There you go. All right. Let's see. Let's turn this guy around. Let me cut this YouTube live so that I can talk to you guys. All right. Oh, shit. How do I turn this thing around? There you go. No, don't stop. Whoa. All right. So, I got this. Get down out of there. Belt sander did that quickly? Yes, it did. I can't. I can't do something over here. Anyway, I'm having technical difficulties here. The belt sander did take it down pretty quickly, man. It's all right. I got it. This is like a hell of a YouTube live here, guys. All right. All right, let's talk. All right. So, hey, hun. Yeah. I got something came up that I don't know how to put it down. It's like a filter. I don't even know how to get rid of that thing, man.
What's up there?
How do I get rid of that? You know?
Oh. You gonna change this?
No, I wasn't gonna change it. I was taking the camera off, and that happened.
Oh look, you're a different color. There you go.
Oh, thanks. How'd you do that? Just swipe it down?
Android Pro.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. So there you go. That's the quick disassembly, the takedown on the CZ and everything like that. CZs are pretty easy to work on as long as, you know, I mean, they weren't easy the first time I worked on them. But if you're working on your own at home and you're getting a little intimidated, you know, it's for good reason, because you can definitely mess things up on these guys. It's important to, it's, you know, it's a good thing YouTube exists, because there's a lot of tutorials. Our buddy Spencer Fransden has some really good tutorials on this stuff. I believe Cajun Gunworks might have put up some stuff. I don't know about CZ Custom, but there's definitely some good resources online for if you happen to run into problems with this guy. So P-01 is one of my favorite platforms, period. In terms of carry guns, they're absolutely right at the top of my list. It might be the top carry, except for my Shadowline Compact. But they're a lot more affordable, and they do come with a decocker, which is a huge plus. My Shadowline Compact is a manual safety. So, but that is the quick and dirty. Now the rest of this stuff is really a matter of reassembling everything. There's a bunch of polishing that I do on the sear cage, which you can find tutorials on YouTube for as well. What else do I do? I'm going to change some of the angles on the disconnector. The disconnector, and just very slightly. But the disconnector, again, is this piece right here. Right here. And on the decocker models, you're going to have to machine this left side of it off right there. So I'm going to have to take that off on the left side, and then I'm going to be messing with a little bit of the angles right over here for your reset and whatnot. So anyway, I hope you guys are able to make use of this video. I'm trying my best to give you guys some kind of content on this YouTube channel, and live feeds seem like the most natural thing for me, so I hope you guys are enjoying the live feeds. We will try to go back and edit the comments so that we can put in links to stuff like the Handy 700 that I use, or the tools, some of the better tools that I use. I use a lot of very good tools around the shop over here, which make my job easier and quicker. We want to make sure that if you guys are running into questions, we can help facilitate the improvement of whatever process it is you're under. I'm unable to get a reset in double action, and it feels terrible, super gritty. Unable to get reset in double action. There's a reason that you can't in double action. You're talking about like how you pull the trigger and the hammer drops. You're not able to get this reset right here. Better check your return spring, make sure it's not broken. Okay, but you should definitely be getting that. Did somebody work on the gun, or is the gun bone stock? Your double action return. Now, there's a couple of things. If it's been worked on and you've got a trigger like mine, this double adjustable Cajun Gunworks trigger, you can see that there's a set screw right up here. Having that set screw not properly set up will cause your gun not to reset. All right? Your turn spring isn't broke. You worked on it. Okay. You have a double adjustable trigger. Initially, I had the T2 Disco and didn't like it. Ah, I see. Have you touched bases with Scott or Dave over at Cajun Gunworks? You might need to just make a few adjustments. You might need to make just a few adjustments to make sure that the disco is, they're not all perfectly fit. So disconnectors, and Cajun Gunworks makes excellent ones, sometimes need to be adjusted. So you might want to touch bases with them. You might be getting a typical disconnector, simple disconnector issue where you can just file down a portion of the disconnector, which is typically, it's really hard to show you on this. It's typically right around here. Improves your disconnector function. So you might want to touch bases with Scott on that, or you can always send the gun over and I can work on it for you. What's my pull weights on your daily carry, single action and double action? Fuck, I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me see where my trigger gauge is at. I'm thinking it was around 3 pounds for single action and 6.5, 7 pounds for double action. But we can find out right now. Okay. Six and a half pounds, 6.62 ounces, 6 pounds, 6.2 ounces in double action. Clear that guy out. Double action is 3 pounds on the nose. Single action, I'm sorry. 3 pounds on the nose. I believe it was lighter than that. Let me. 2 pounds, 12 ounces. All right, I saw a comment over there. What was the comment? How do I bring the comments back up? Let's see. Spoke with them. They said I need to adjust the trigger bar supporting spring. Trigger bar supporting spring is this guy right in here. And I've never heard that before. I'd listen to them though. They know what they're talking about. But I think I messed up polishing underneath the trigger bar. Oh, that's definitely something. So if you took away too much material on the bottom of the trigger bar, then that would definitely make sense as to why they would want you to adjust that trigger support spring. Now, I've never, not in any of the guns that I've ever built, had a problem with not functioning, not getting a functional reset, except when I did not adjust that double adjustable trigger. So I haven't gone on YouTube. I haven't, watched a lot of the videos that other guys put out to, the problems, the troubleshooting that they've had. I can only kind of really give sound advice on the troubleshooting that I've run into. But if you remove too much material from underneath this trigger bar, then it would definitely change the geometry. Now, all these guns, they're very robust guns and everything like that, but they actually rely heavily on the timing and the spacing on everything. So I can see where very easily you can get things out of line just by removing a little bit too much material, and that's why you got to make sure you're not doing that. But replacement trigger bar is fucking cheap, bro. You should hit up Cajun Gunworks or CZ Custom and order yourself a replacement trigger bar. It's simple, and you could swap those parts out. Trigger bars should be easy to get in and out. You can, if you don't already, put in a floating trigger pin like this one from Cajun Gunworks, and you can just tap that guy out in and out. All right. That's probably the first thing I do. If your suspicion is that, more than likely you know what happened when you were working on the gun. More than likely you're probably pretty close to figuring out what the problem was. This is my carry gun. It's always dusty as hell. There's my carry gun right here. Yeah, I will. It's just so crazy that you're doing this video. I've upgraded all the parts so many times. Yeah, man. I actually filmed the process in detail previously. Just haven't had the time to upload it and edit and all that stuff. Really, the live feeds are. Thank you very much, James. The live feeds really are kind of like impromptu and just shoot from the hip, and it allows me to feel a lot more comfortable doing it. I'll make a ton of mistakes during the live feeds, as far as like you guys saw, like losing my tools and shit on my desk right in front of me. But the live feeds also afford me the ability to give as like the best possible feedback to people who are viewing. It allows me the opportunity to learn, because there's been times when I've definitely learned from guys in the comments, and it's also been a very good opportunity for me to share the things that I've learned firsthand, right there, my face to your screen, but that you guys can ask questions and have them answered right here and now. So Jamel, sorry, I follow you on IG and being your lives there. Oh, Mr. Mel, all right, there you go. Thanks, man. Sorry, I saw James. It's early. I haven't had enough Monster this morning. And filming in landscape is weird for me. Anyway, that's a wrap on the live feed today. You guys will see the finished pictures of this gun. I'm going to go ahead and throw all the rest of the parts on it. I'm going to knock the shit out of this barrel bushing. That is a freaky thing, getting that thing out. And if you guys haven't seen anything on these, getting out that barrel bushing right there, that thing is a lot of work. I'm going to be replacing the sights and replacing that bushing. So I'm going to knock this sight out, which is usually pretty easy. I'm going to have to fit the new sights, which means taking them, filing them down, and then notching it so that that roll pin can go right through over there. And I'm going to be knocking the shit out of this thing and replacing it with that 10x bushing, as I mentioned previously. Now, 10x bushing, it's not vital to your build. But if you're looking to eke out every last bit of accuracy out of your gun, it's a good opportunity to, if you're going to have that pin out and you're going to take that front sight out, it's a good opportunity to replace that bushing. It's a zero plate bushing, or as close to a zero plate bushing as you can get without having a custom machined Accu bushing installed on your gun, like from CZ Custom. But you can do this yourself. Make sure this notch is oriented towards the front sight area so you can get that pin back through. You should do a vid on that, the bushing, that's next. I'm replacing the sights with H-tack rear, fiber front. Awesome, man. Make sure that H-tack is going to fit. I got H-tack on my stuff, but it's a shadow cut, right? It's a shadow dovetail, not a P-01 dovetail. Anyway, that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope the video was informational for everybody who was in attendance, and I hope that all of you guys who come and watch this hereafter, what's up, brother Dan, get some good information out of this. And that's about it. Dave Mods, Gun Fu. I got more work to do. I'll check you guys out later. Peace.